Hi people, welcome back to TS Talk Sport. Today, doing my preview ahead of the North London derby, Arsenal versus Tottenham. Both teams coming off of the back of defeats last weekend. Of course, Arsenal losing 3-1 away at Liverpool and Spurs losing 1-0 at home to Newcastle. And, both teams will be looking to bounce back and get a result in this game. I think, not, of course, the fans, but also the players, the managers, the coaching staff of both sides know how big this game is, about the bragging rights and stuff. It means a lot. Of course, last season we took 4 points out of 6 off of Spurs in the league. Of course, beating them 4-2 at the Emirates and drawing with them at Wembley. But I'm relatively confident going into this game. I do think that it's a game that we're going to get a result in. I just feel like it's a game we need to put our best players out there from the get-go. Pepe got his start at Anfield, and I expect him to start this game also. And I feel that if we get at them, and in a sense, some people say, "Oh, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket. You want to have some options to bring off the bench." Personally, I feel that we just need to get at Tottenham from the get-go. I feel that as much as we could bring off on impact subs, which we kind of did last season against them, I would rather just get at them straight from the off, and I'd be more confident that we'd get a result that way. So bearing that in mind, I'm going to get straight into my starting 11. In goal, Leno, no questions about that. Martinez, he's the backup. He probably only feature in Europa League games or Carabao Cup, FA Cup, early stage games, etc. But other than that, it's going to be Leno. At right back, still going to be Maitland, Niles. I did a video on him prior to the season starting, saying that it's a big season for him. As much as we can all say, oh, he's not a right back, he's not a wing back, he's not a left back, etc. He's been playing these positions now for about a season and a half. So, all this, he's not a this position player, he's not a that position player. I tell you what, if you've been playing in a position, whether it's been frequent or not, but if you've been playing out of your natural position in another position for about 18 months, surely you somewhat improved there. So, hopefully he has a good game, but like I'm saying, I can't be hearing much more excuses for Maitland Niles going forward, because he's been playing out of position for long enough now to know the basics of what's needed to be done. At left back, I'm going to go with Kolasinac. Of course, Monreal has been playing the last couple games, but the talk is that he's on his way to Real Sociedad, so nothing fully confirmed yet, but most likely is that he will be going to Real Sociedad. And if he does, best of luck to him. It's quite evident we don't need 3 left backs at the club, and I think Kolasinac can do a job for us in this game. He's played in the back four for us and had some shaky games. I think one of his better games was at home last season against Liverpool, and if we can get a similar sort of performance from him in this game, I think will bode well for us. But I'll go with Kolasinac at left back as my 2 centre halves. I'm going to stick with the same 2 from last week, Sokratis and Luiz. Some might say, take Luiz out, put Chambers in. Chambers was kind of hooked unfairly after the Newcastle game, but I think the magnitude of this game, I feel that is quite imperative that we go with Sokratis and Luiz, and they're ready to battle with Kane, whoever else is there, Ali, Ericsson, all these guys. I think that in a sense a solid defensive centre half pairing, and I think those 2 would do the job. In front of them, when I revert back to the Burnley game, it was kind of like a 4-2-3-1 or even a 4-3-3. But for my midfield 3 for this game, I'm going to go with Torreira first off. Made an impact when he came on against Liverpool, of course, scored for us. And, I feel that he needs to start this game. He needs to be in there from the off. In that midfield also, I'd go with Joe Willock. He's one of the standout players at Anfield. And, he's come a long way from when he scored. When he had that great performance back in January in the FA Cup, I think it was away at Blackpool. And, he's not just a young player in the squad. He is, in a sense, of course, he's a young player in the squad. He's just... It's his birthday the other day, I believe he just turned 20, but the way that he plays, he's not like he's just in the squad to be the young player in the squad. He's actually showing that he's got some levels of quality, and I feel like a game of this magnitude would do him the world of good. Just in front of them two, I'll go with Danny Ceballos. Needs to have a bit of a better game than he did against Liverpool. And, if he can get him playing similar to how he was against Burnley, I think that's going to do us the world of good. Playing off that right-hand side, I'm going to go with Nicolas Pepe. Decent game against Liverpool. Again, the main thing is finish your dinner. He had two chances. One where he just went wide of the post, and one where, it's like he more or less pressed the pass button and passed it to the goalkeeper. But, on another day, he scores those two. People saying, oh, it's a 9 out of 10 performance. So, he needs to take his chances, be clinical, and, link up with the other two big men in the attacking positions. And, I presume that if he does that, we're definitely going to get a result out of this game. On the left-hand side, I'm going to go with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Again, another player that, had a couple chances in that Liverpool game, on another day he probably takes them, but, not clinical enough. Something he needs to work on, especially in games against the other teams in the top six. And, he had a good performance in this fixture last season. Of course, he did miss the penalty in the away fixture at Wembley, but I definitely feel, given the opportunities on his day, he does a job. And I've got no complaints with Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. And then through the middle, Lacazette was quite unfortunate. He was on the bench at Anfield, and of course when things weren't going well, he's kind of looked frustrated, as though he wanted to be in the pitch and make an impact. And it's good determination from him, and hopefully he gets to start from the get-go, and can really put his mark on the game, and hopefully get a goal or two. But that'll be my starting 11. In terms of the bench, probably the same sort of names we've been seeing on the bench. Your Martinez's, Chambers, maybe a Xhaka, Guendouzi, Mkhitaryan, Nelson, Martinelli. Those sort of players is who I'd expect to really be seeing on the bench in theory. But I believe that with that team, I believe that we get a result in this game. I'm going to go with a 2-1 score prediction in this game, but I do think that we potentially will win 3-1, but I think it's going to be a close game, and that we'll win it by 2-1. That's all from me regarding my prediction, preview, starting 11, etc. for the game. Of course, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And of course, if you're new to the channel, hit the subscribe button, and I'll catch you next time.